Hello? Glad to see you too, Mimi. Hello there. What can I do for you today? If this is about your case, I've narrowed down the list of likely candidates by looking at people who came to Lumios within the last few years. Thanks, Emma. That's actually another missing person we're here for today. Another missing person? Alright, let's hear it. We need to find Floridin's opponent for his next promotion match. Do you have a name? Grisham. Grisham. I know the name. One of the top-ranked trainers in the ZA Royale. Or so I've heard. I can give you the information you need, but this knowledge could potentially put you in danger. Do you still want to know? It's for Lumios' sake. I figured you'd say that. Okay, I know what to do. Yeah, there's been nothing pertaining to me to this meeting yet, as I figured would be the case for most of it anyway. If you beat me in battle, I'll tell you what I know. Come on, let's head outside. Is there going to be like a cool Emma battle theme that would have played earlier in the game as well, but I would have forgotten, that I'm just not going to be able to hear here? You guys will be able to hear, but I'm going to have to listen after the fact, because I can't hear shit. I don't know. Start out with, whoops. Start out with the bug. Sounds good to me. You should know, Emma's really strong. Her detective work means she's too busy for the ZA Royale, but she'd be in the top ranks for sure. But yeah, do you still want to know? Let's see, what are my options? I could either say yes or yeah. I'm glad this fucking prompt exists for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, that's like every prompt in Pokemon or Persona games. Are you ready to battle me? I'm ready to win. I'll be using Pokemon that were given to me by a man who played an important role in my life. Malamar. Everyone, let's go. She uses a Malamar. I presume that's going to be Mega Evolving here. There's probably some cool music that I can't hear. Just looking over at OBS audio levels, I'm going to turn it up a little smidge. Because visually, this looks better for audio levels. But, like, I can't hear it. Truly, the illusion of choice. I'll look up the OST after the fact. Yeah, after turning it down there, I can't hear it at all. Oh, it's a good thing I use physical attacks. Pokemon dialogue is really fitting considering it shows the illusion of choice in a late-stage capitalistic society. Well, that Nintendo is an evil corporation and... Oh my god. Can I open my menu? Can I open my menu? Can I open my menu? Does this answer how good the game is, Sate? Can I open my menu? Can I open my menu? Can I open my menu? Hey, look, there's the menu opening. Oh, I forgot to buy Healy items. Uh-oh. Oh, this would have been perfect if I had learned close combat before this point. I need to go buy more Hyper Potions. Mawile. Here, just... Blarg! Go, Florida! Here we go. Send you out again preemptively for now, I guess. Lucario. I changed my mind. Calm Mind. Doesn't matter. So anyway, I start blasting. Come on. Come on. Yeah, die in the middle of using Psychic. What have we got, huh? Malamar. Send out my Mega here really quickly. My Pokemon and I aren't alone. My old mentors have our backs in spirit. Would this be like a Pokemon from Looker or something? The bling sound effect, I very slightly hear that. Just barely, and I hear a little bit of the sounds here. I hear like nothing else, man. Alright, well. Swords Dance. Oh my. Oh, get one shot. Is anyone else in the same boat I'm in, where there's so much awful shit going on in the world that Nintendo being obnoxious with DMCAs is barely on my radar right now? Yeah, honestly. Sally, I think that's most people right now. So much terrible shit happening that disasters which would normally be world news aren't on anyone's radar. Yeah. I mean, Nintendo DMCA people wouldn't exactly be world news, but I get what you're saying there. And then there's stuff they're trying to keep hush on purpose. God, AI-powered surveillance cameras by Flock being installed throughout the country. I've never heard of Flock before. I'm not familiar with this at all. But I do know a lot of crazy stuff that's going on in the US right now. Which is why me and my whole family don't really have any intention on going to the US for at least the next 3.5 years. Is the case. So yeah, Sate, it was fun going over to your place and bugging the hell out of Smashville there. But yeah, that's not going to be happening again anytime soon. Good thing those old guys aren't here to see this. Very reasonable. Yeah. Tell me, what do you two know about Team Flare? They're the group that caused all the trouble for Kalos 5 years ago, right? Exactly right. Their group was led by a man named Lysander. He disappeared 5 years ago, but now he's reappeared, calling himself L. He's been spotted around town with a mysterious Pokémon with a glowing butthole. It seems suspicious, so I decided to investigate them. Not for a client, just for me. But everything I've uncovered tells me that L hasn't been doing anything sinister at all. In fact, he seems to be genuinely trying to help save Lumios. So it's not the old guard we've got to worry about here, but rather the new. See, about 5 years ago, I had my own ties to someone who was involved in Team Flare. That's how I heard what I'm about to tell you. Before Team Flare collapsed, they started making moves to ensure they left a legacy. Apparently, they tried a few different things, including making the expansion suit that I use. Another one of their efforts involved training up a new generation to carry on their ideals. Grisham was one of the young trainers that Team Flare taught. Oh. Though it's not clear if Grisham is even a real name or not. And now it seems Grisham is taking part in the ZA Royale. But why? To what end? Does Grisham have a goal of their own? There's no real saying for sure. It didn't matter what I said there. Not until I do some more digging, at least. You know what? I bet Mabel at the Pokemon Research Lab could tell you more about Grisham. You mean Mabel was Grisham? Well, they worked at the same place, or something like that. Ish. Sorry, but that's not for me to say. It's up to Mabel to decide how much she wants to share. Thanks for the tip, Emma. Mabel? I'll do some investigating of my own. You should go to the Pokemon Research Lab and see what Mabel says, Floridance. Okay. We're talking about some extra life stuff right now from a Game Day 2025. I was just talking about that not that long ago, but in a very different context. But yeah, fun fact, one city installed the Flock AI cameras in a few neighborhoods. So many people bitched about them, they actually decommissioned them. But because Flock only leases cameras to the government cannot remove them, so they had to cover them with plastic bags to keep them from spying on people. God. I'm gonna have to look into that at some point. We've got an actual Gestapo snatching people up with no probable cause. Yeah, that's probably one of, if not the most wild thing to me. And the fact that there's a lot of people that are behind this and like, yeah, get him out of here. And it's like, have you not been enrolled in a history class before? What? Like, what? That's what I can't help but think. Like, for Alligator and the rest of the team should be all better now. Is there anything else I can help you with? Like, what's the point of learning history if it's not to learn from our mistakes? These are mistakes that have been made historically that we should be able to look at back and be like, huh, that's really not a great decision. But no, we just can't. Just really frustrating, man. And, you know, it's kind of also really crazy as a Canadian here when the US used to be, you know, our #1 ally. And now with everything that's been going on, the US has been turned from our closest ally into what a lot of Canadians feel like is the biggest threat to our country here. Un momento. I think that's everything I needed to add in the frag meeting. I muted myself again over there. Talked about some tournament stuff. Like, just basic stuff. I don't have, like, any set-in-stone plans right now. We're over a year out. Less than a year out. You know what I mean. It's not even 2026 yet, and it's in August 2026, so we're many months out. So time to figure things out. So yeah, I think things are sorted out there in terms of what I needed to say. You want to know what came up while I was speaking there that you didn't hear? So I talked about how I'm willing to do like the multiple Smash Bros tournaments again. Like the whole free-for-all doubles, singles kind of thing. That always goes great. And this last year I ended up doing Mario Kart World as well and people like that. But I mentioned that, you know, we could do something like Mario Kart World again, or, you know, could do something else like, you know, Kirby Air Riders is another recent game that came out. Whoa, that's different. There's something going on with the tower. You know, or just other Mario Kart games, or consider it the wild card slot that changes every tournament. You want to know what was mentioned? Tanner Maverick Zero, who you might have seen the name of in the stream a couple of times. Do you know what he asked me? He asked me, what about Sonic Racing Cross Worlds? So I was like, I don't know, I haven't played it. I hear good things about it. And he tells me, it's Mario Kart World, but better. That's what he tells me. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is good. I mean, shit. So, I said I haven't played it. I would like to at some point. So then he said, like, I'll play it with you. I'll race with you. I was like, all right, maybe at some Mega FPS event, maybe we can play it together. So I don't know. Maybe I'll, maybe one of these Mega FPS events, maybe I'll end up playing Sonic Racing Cross Worlds with a Maverick Zero there. He's down to play Sonic Racing Cross Worlds with me. See if he can get me into it. Convince me to host it at some future frag or Mega FPS or something. So yeah, that's what ended up coming up there. I probably missed a whole bunch of political stuff there while that was going on there. I knew I was gonna have to hop into the meeting at some point. But yeah, let's see here. Crazy thing is, they're actively trying to edit what you're allowed to teach in history classes too. Yeah, and they're editing a lot of historical research. Oh, okay, hold on. Meeting's ending here. Just wrapping up, but they're discussing when the next meeting is going to be. That's all it is. I just want to pay a little bit more attention here. Is all. Okay, they're, you know, just discussing dates of this next meeting here. You. How was that for multitasking, huh? Let's go restore my settings now. Here we go, from desktop audio, and then I turn this to what I normally have it at around here-ish. Oh my god, how is that for multitasking? I didn't get any DMs on Discord from anyone being like, huh, you're streaming? So, good sign there. Imagine Maverick Zero comes into my stream right now. It's like, what the hell? You've been streaming? That would be a little funny. Oh man. Imagine he discovers I was streaming Sonic Racing Cross Worlds this whole time. But yeah, with the whole like history part, a lot of historical research is being thrown out as well. Like, if there's a research that says words like trans, transgender, woman, a lot of it is just being thrown out. So there's decades worth of research data that is being erased. We are literally going back in time and losing valuable research data if it doesn't conform to what the government wants. My mom's friend, who I've known like all my life, works with a research company that is based out of the States. Like, works here in Canada, but works for a company based out of the States. And when taking calls and stuff like that, even there, the staff are scared to say the wrong thing, like a word that's gonna get flagged, and, you know, all of a sudden, the stuff that they're working on is gonna be denied. So, a lot of people working are like, send it to like my private email, not the company email. The stuff that you know about like this research project or whatever the heck. Because we don't want it to get flagged as something that we're not allowed to be working on because it had one of these like banned terms or something like that. So people are literally needing to police what they say in emails and phone because they're scared about saying the wrong thing, is what we've come to in the modern US. Like, it's wild. US history class is a joke. They don't teach anything other than US history, and briefly, and I do mean briefly, summarize a few civilizations that existed before. They don't teach us anything about outside countries like the UK, aside from they tax us so much, we dumped their tea into the sea, and they deserved it type shit. And honestly, they probably don't want people to know about other countries, because if people in the US did research on life in Europe like I did, they'd be pissed at what we don't have. Yeah, honestly. Some of them. For some reason, some Americans see 28 days legally required yearly paid time off and think that Europeans are weak and just don't want to work. Yeah, some people definitely think that there. Well, to be frank, the UK did deserve it. But yeah, just imagine if people found out about Italian work culture. True, but other than briefly mentioning them as an ally in a couple of world wars, they're never brought up again. One thing I never liked about history class that I delve into very little. Jeez. Like, I'm glad that I got to learn about a whole bunch of different things historically here in Canada. I'm glad about that. I think a lot of this is why Gen Z is so politically charged and upset. We grew up online playing video games and on social media. We've met people from other countries online. We are some of the most cultured Americans. Wait, some of the most cultured Americans since the World War II era. Yeah, the world is definitely more and more interconnected than ever before with the internet. And you'd think that with, like, so much information at your fingertips, it would be, everyone would be a whole lot more educated, but, the internet is kind of the double-edged sword in that, you know, you make these echo chambers, you have all these algorithms that keep on feeding you the stuff that you already agree with. So if you are already, like, super politically charged, you know, let me say you're super right or you're super left, the internet is probably going to show you, you know, more of the thing that you agree with, keep you engaged longer. And there is definitely an issue with the internet not, you know, presenting different ideas to people more often. Because as is the case with everything in life, as always, there's a good middle ground, you know? A good middle ground to everything. Nowadays, if you're a centrist, that's real bad. You don't want to be that anymore nowadays. We actually see through the government shit. Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely the case for a lot of young people nowadays. Sonic Racing Crossroads scratches my Mario Kart itch without touching a modern Nintendo product, or even Windows because it runs perfectly on Linux. Yeah, that's nice there. Yeah, speaking of, I need to look into how to use Linux now that Windows 10 is no longer being supported. Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people really getting into Linux nowadays. One of my friends that I grew up with in high school, I was recently chatting with her, and she was telling me all about Linux and how it's been like a steep learning curve to get into, but she really wanted to get into it and get away from stupid Windows, and is now very glad that she took the time to learn it, and is now like very happy with Linux there. I was very much recommending Linux to me as well, kind of like Mythic has been over time here, too. As long as you don't play games with kernel level anti-cheat, League of Legends, ugh, modern Call of Duty, ugh, don't tell Fermata, Fortnite, ugh, similar games, or use certain game launchers, Epic Games Launcher calling you out specifically, or rely on certain Office products for work, Microsoft Office Suite. It's really easy, huh? Linux Mint is the distro you want. Okay. Wow, that could be a problem. I do play Fortnite and Marvel Rivals, which I'm guessing is the same. You know? I'm not really one that plays much in the way of freemium games, like, at all, really. I've played a tiny little smidge of Marvel Rivals, off-stream, completely on my own time, because I have a friend that plays it, and, you know, I will play it with once in a blue moon. Maybe I'll have to play Marvel Rivals with you one day, Sate. I suck at it, I'm not good, it's not a thing I play, it's like, hey, there's a friend of mine who's playing it, so I'm gonna play a little bit. I think in the wake of, like, Metal Gear Solid Delta and Assassin's Creed Valhalla and all this recent stuff on my C drive, I think I actually uninstalled it recently. The big room. I want to buy a new SATA SSD sometime soon, but I've spent a whole bunch of money on, like, different Black Friday stuff recently that I needed to get replaced. Like, a new smartwatch, for example, because this is an Apple Watch. I don't use an Apple phone anymore. So it's literally just a watch, not a smart one. And I've gotten so used to over time having all my notifications right there and not having to pull up my phone and yada yada. So I got things like a new smartwatch for Black Friday whenever it comes in. So that's enough spending money for me for now. But one day I'll get another SATA SSD, and then I can put more games onto like the nice SSD drives and stuff. Sure, it was very confusing and overwhelming. Yes. It's like that for everyone at first, but once you get into it, it's fun. I believe it there. I mean, it's a little bit fun for me even having no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm just thinking that when I go through this door, I'll be a nice natural place to cut up into parts, which is why I keep on not until I make sure that I'm like through everything here. Do you even know what it's like to boot up an operating system and not have 4 notifications in your face? Press your home/Windows key and not be greeted with a random news article Microsoft thought you needed. To be able to use an operating system without an account that requires internet access to set up. To be able to use an OS that doesn't spy on everything you do. Yeah, it is a good sell there. It's worth every sacrifice in my opinion. Using Linux has been fantastic for me, minus some program compatibility issues. It's faster, smoother, more customizable, and it helps me stand up for my rights as a consumer. And this really is, like, even outside of OSs, just in today's industry in general, in today's economy in general, whatever you want to say, in today's world in general, there needs to be a lot more of that. Like, standing up as a consumer, being like, no, you're doing this shitty thing, I'm not doing it. Like, again, if I wasn't a streamer, I wouldn't have bought this game. And, you know, the people that aren't buying the Switch 2 and saying, you know, screw you, Nintendo, you know, very, very justified. Like, all the power to you, honestly. Like, my heart's there. But I want to play these games on my channel and stuff. You know how it be. But yeah, I absolutely get it. I will gladly say fucking Nintendo all the time here. Let's go through the door now. How about?